Yep. Okay, yes. So, okay, so let's start. Yeah, I like to give you guys some review, review that we always think about, when we are doing a project, not only for this project, when you're maybe in your other subjects, you also do projects and you do presentations. Always think about the objective. This I also make this mistake myself. I'm still further studying and I'm doing research projects. We often get lost because we're doing a lot of things. We're doing this, we're doing that. We often get lost of the objective. What are we doing here? We collect a lot of data, we talk to the people, and then we sometimes we get lost. So whenever, remind yourself, if you're doing a big project, sometimes I see some students even stick the objective on the screen, the border of the computer screen. When you're doing a big project, especially if you're doing your honors project in your final year, if your topic, the objective of your topic, you stick it somewhere obvious in your notice board. So you always remember, what am I doing here? What is the objective of this project? So let's go through that. We hope to learn, actually, the objective of this course is to learn the matter of life and death through real people, right? I hope we have been doing this, understanding life, understanding death, meaning of life and death situations throughout this course. I want to ask you, what this objective, maybe you show me your fingers again, 1 to 10, you think you have so far that you have or understand a bit glimpse of the meaning of life and death through this course? Have you? If you have to rate this course, how many marks that you already? 7. Wow, great. 6, 7. Yes. And some of you? Any others? How many marks you 0? This is you give me or you give yourself? Oh dear. So you don't really get it yet, the glimpse of meaning of life. Oh dear. I know we are in different journey, so I really hope we can do that. Rethink about that. If you think your marks is low, we don't just, learn for the sake of, we don't come into class for the sake of coming into the class. We hope that we really, got the meaning of life. Respect is the most important word, I think. If you throughout this course you get A grade, B grade, but we didn't learn to respect life, there's no point. So I really hope that we learn to respect ourselves and respect other people. This is what I try to share with you. The process could be painful because I understand when you walk with the elderly, you listen to the story and you reflect on yourself. It could be very painful. It could be annoying. It could be difficult. Some of the elderly, maybe they yap, 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 yap. It's difficult, but for the sake of your marks, you do it. But at the same time, we hope you actually walk this journey. 係咩？哦，好啊，我講多次啊。It's all right. So he recognized my voice. Okay, that's good. Siri also echo with my teaching. That's wonderful. Yeah, 我哋唔清楚係嘛？我哋真係唔係好清楚。I'm still lost myself. I'm also in this journey. Maybe Miss Hong will say the same. We 即係做到老學到老嘅。We are still in this journey, right? To understand you, to understand me. Sometimes we go, 點解啲學生會咁㗎？點解我哋自己會咁㗎？ Why are we like that? So I think this is a meaningful process. So, okay, maybe let us recap this. It's a narrative practice, this project for life review, for finding their legacy, for Hong Kong older adults with university students in this surface learning project, okay? a collaborative narrative research. That means we collaborate with the elderly and we find their legacy, right? I hope by now you know what is legacy. We will go through that again a little bit. So we hope that, using, Ms. Hong taught us this very wonderful tool about Tree of Life. And we hope that we, together with the student, using this Tree of Life tool to find out, to rediscover the picture of this elderly's legacy. Well, you guys from different major, right? Some is from film, some is from science, some is from management. I hope this is relevant, not only for this course, it's for your other major subject also. We are in university to understand the meaning of life, to rediscover, to respect. So throughout this process of learning about the legacy of the elderly, what is the legacy? What is legacy? Any of the students already got it? 有冇人都知道咩叫 legacy 啊？ A lot of some of you very good. You have been asking me and Ms. Hong this same question again and again after class. It's very good you do that. So have you got it? What is legacy? 知唔知道啊？大概嚇幾多分啊？你俾自己知道大概咩叫 legacy？ 5分？一半半？ No? You still don't know? Not really. You still don't really know what's legacy. Yeah, I will go through that again. So actually, it's the person we want to find. The most simple 其實最簡單就係揾返個人啊。We want to find the person. 咁你要揾到個人先可以有嘢傳承到落去㗎嘛，係咪啊？ If you cannot find the person, what to pass on? So I hope that these 2 interviews, you already you're finding the elderly. You're finding the person. 揾唔揾到啊？揾唔揾到嗰個姨姨啊，或者嗰個 uncle 啊？揾唔揾到佢啊？你覺得你 You found him? Did he tell you? It's very meaningful process, I think, to find, because this is what we all try to do in this world, is to find ourselves and find other people. 你讀大學咧, you study university, it's a process of finding yourself, what you like, what's your career, who you're gonna be, right? You also have your legacy to pass on to your friends and family, right? I hope that it's like, whenever we're facing people, it's like we're looking at the mirror. 我哋即係同人相處咧，好似照鏡咁嘅，即係我哋 counseling 係咁樣學啊。Whenever you talk to the elderly, actually you see the reflection and you reflect yourself throughout the process. 你係照到人哋又照到自己嘅。你同個長者傾偈咧，有時 maybe not everything you feel echo, maybe not everything you feel synchronized or you feel you're the same, but in this process we stimulate each other, 刺激對方噶。我都係咁噶，我爺爺都係咁噶，我嫲嫲都係咁噶。Yeah, like that, So I hope that to a certain extent you found, throughout use this tool of Tree of Life. So we hope, in this coming presentation, we hope you could review the process. You could show us the process, how you did it, how you have done it, what you have done. I believe you have done a lot. I believe you have done something with your group mates, So don't worry about it if some of you made mistakes. Don't worry about it. If your project is not perfect, don't worry about it. We just hope that in this process, even you told me, I made a big mistake, or even, we will be talking with some of the students who perhaps made some mistakes or have some accident that happened, in the second visit. It's okay. But of course, there's a lot of precautions we have to do. We have to, maybe to respect the elderly. We do no harm. This is very important, to do no harm. So how we gonna make it up, or how we gonna make it better is important. Yeah. So can we verify also, are you really collaborating? The third objective, are we really collaborating with the elderlies? Did we respect the elderly and give them chance to interact with you? And the information you collected in the first visit, did you able to check with the elderly and collaborate with the, you know, the second interview? You know, so how to enrich this story, how to make sure these interviews are valid, are trustworthy, you know, in this process. So I think I hope this is useful for your honors. Anybody need to do honors project in your final year? 有邊個要做啲大 project 㗎？你哋自己 You know what's honors project? You don't know? You know, right? You do need to do, right? Any of you, you know, gonna be year 4? 有冇人 year 4 而家？ Any of you year 4? Maybe the ones year 4 not coming lah. Maybe they're very busy. Yeah, year 3? Some of the year 3 students, yeah, you will be doing some big project next year. So I hope this will prepare you. Yeah, you monitor the whole process. Okay, so yeah, what is legacy? What you found out about the elderly that they could pass on. You know, it's something we hold on to, it's something we treasure. 即係你覺得好嘅嘢你先會 pass 㗎嘛，係咪？ Something you think is good, then you will pass it on. 你覺得唔好嗰啲嘢你盡量唔想 pass 啦，係咪？ But sometimes we do. Whenever I see my sons, sometimes I see my weaknesses and my bad points, you know, in them also. But, you know, okay, yeah. Have you found strength of the elderly? Some special ability, 有啲好叻嘅嘢啊，佢哋有啲能力啊。Yeah, and then they help people, they enjoy doing it, and how do they do it? And the wisdom, their special quality, and how they contribute to other people's life, and how they contribute to their own lives. 即係佢點樣建立佢自己嘅生命啊？係咪啊？佢點樣建立自己嘅生命，又建立人哋嘅生命啊？係咪啊？ how they build their own life and build other people's life, and how they build relationship. Okay, and maybe there's some special moments that they do all this stuff. So I expect to see in your presentations these findings. Okay, what you found about the elderly, and you categorize them into very presentable categories so that your reader, your audience can understand what you're talking about, right? It's called thematic analysis. 即係啲主題嘅分析嚇。Okay, maybe you found some of the values and beliefs. You know, please also look at the narrative therapy we learned in one of the lessons. So actually, map 2 is very useful for us. Map 2 in the narrative therapy is for us to find the person, 即係嗰個人嘅身份嘅地圖啊。About the landscape of their identity. So what is it about? What is about in a person? What make you different from him? What make your elderly different from their elderly? What's the difference? It's a different person. So the person will have different beliefs, 有啲唔同嘅信念啦。You know what's different between beliefs and values? 價值觀同埋信念係有咩唔同啊？明唔明白啊？ What's the difference between beliefs and, you know, right? Some of you know. That's good. Some of you nod your head. Yeah. Belief is like, you know, it's like could be quite neutral. You know, what you believe, you know, I believe that Kentucky Fried Chicken tastes better than McDonald's. I believe that. Yeah, it's your belief, right? So your values also, values is important, like we talked about before. 個價值觀啊。價值觀 means what is important to us. That's important. What's important to us is important, right? So maybe for this elderly, relationship is very important. For this elderly, work is very important. This is how we set our priorities. You know, this one is very good to reflect on yourself also. What is your priority? 你嘅先後次序係乜嘢? What's important to you? What's important? Some people think having a house is important. Some people think buying a watch is important. Some people think having a nice car is important, right? So it makes a very different nature of us, you know, what we think is important, that drives your whole life. Some people think work is more important than seeing their family, you know. So they work, you know. Yeah. So this is how you prioritize your life, how you spend your time. It's very important. You know, why you sitting here? Why some of the students not here? You know, maybe, I don't know, just like it's their values. Maybe they're doing other training, or maybe they have other things to do. They have better things to do, better, more important than this class. It's okay, you know, it's their values, right? So I'm sorry, and I feel unfortunate if you have such group mates that they don't value us. They don't put us priority. Okay, they have other priorities, but it's their choice. But maybe how are they going to balance it? How then? This is the dilemma of life. So they also want to go other places, do other things, but they also want good marks. How are we going to do that? 又要馬兒好，又要馬兒不吃草，係嘛？又想減肥，又想食，係嘛？ We want to eat, we want to lose weight, but we eat at the same time. We often do that. So how are we going to put all this, you know, how we juggle all this? It's very important, you know, important life questions. So we hope to find out about the elderly. When you read the verbatim, try to think about in terms of things like that. What's important for the elderly and how they deal with it, how they juggle with their life. And maybe also some examples, you know, of the significant moments, some of the relationships, you know, how they live their life, the principle, all these bits and pieces, all these bits and pieces, if you revisit the map too in the narrative therapy, the higher it gets in the map, like is your commitment, your principle of living, 你做人嘅宗旨啊. Because like for the elderly, it's over the years how they do this, right? For example, every day I go to 茶餐廳 and I eat my breakfast A 餐, right? Every day. Some people do that. Iced lemon tea every day, right? Or they 凍奶茶 every day. Anybody do that? 有冇人日日都飲凍奶茶㗎? Or 珍珠奶茶, you know? Something you do every day, you know? Why? You ask why. Or you go to that place every week, go to church every week, or you visit your grandparents every other week. Something you do. It's all these values that make up to your commitments and make up to your principle of living over the time period, right? 即係你做人嘅宗旨啊，你嘅堅持啊。You know, it's very easy, it's very good to see these elderly people because they already having so many years of their lives that you can reference to their lives. Wow, every day they go 飲茶. Wow, 悶唔悶啊? But why they do that? They love tea, maybe. Or maybe they love to chit-chat with their friends when they 飲茶. What's the reason behind all these actions, repetitive actions they do? You can, you know, see from the script, look for this stuff. If you don't think that's important, you won't do it every day, right? Maybe their beliefs about tea. They think tea is, I saw this talk, they say that the long lives of Hong Kong people because of tea, you know? 點解啲香港人咁長命啊？原來佢哋飲好多茶。Well, actually, drinking tea could be a principle of living. Could be their beliefs about 養生，係咪啊？ Yeah, all these things they do, so simple, just tea, but so much meaning behind it. 係咪啊？ Maybe we can make a movie about 飲茶, right? Sure, we can do that. Some of the movies have done that already. 飲食男女啊, you know, the original, very original one. Talk about drinking and eating in Chinese people, right? Yes. So who's the person? So I hope you also find yourself throughout me talking about this, not only finding the elderly, you find out about yourself also. You echo. That makes the presentation juicy. Is you have the heart, you put your heart into the presentation because you understand the elderly at the same time you understand human being, you understand yourself. You understand your grandparents. You understand your mommy and daddy. You understand your brothers and sisters. This is the meaning of this course. Isn't it? Okay? Yeah. Another thing about the ethical consideration, I'd like to revisit that one. I'm sorry that I like to say that I'm not going to tell the names or the group, but Ms. Hong told me that, that unfortunately, some incident happened last visit. I like to take this opportunity to use this example to teach everybody about it. But I know that we can discuss how we're going to make up or how we're going to make it better, But what I want to say is integrity and, confidentiality is very important whenever you're doing your honors project, when you interview, like, this movie last month, right? Got the big director, the one that's supposed to win the Academy Award or whatever. 嗰個香港有個張婉婷係嘛? This director, she made this wonderful movie. But too bad that, she interviewed was meaningful. She interviewed the girls from the school, and then, but actually they did not sign the consent form. They did not have the consent, that they did not want to be interviewed. But she already made the movie. And so all these people's personal story is leaked out without their consent. It was a big news in Hong Kong, right? Wasn't it? 2 months ago, wasn't it? And all the movies, it was a very good movie. It was good movie. Maybe she scored A for the making of the movie. But she failed into the, but it's very complicated, I know. Maybe some of the people, they verbally give you consent, and then maybe they didn't sign, or maybe they didn't think that they didn't know you would make it so big. And then maybe they change their mind after their personal story. If you interview, if you make a small episode, I would feel okay. But if you make a big episode about my life story, I would feel so intimidated. And people could withdraw anytime. Actually, the elderly can withdraw anytime throughout this research. We have experience in doing this research. We always tell them they have the rights, because it's their story we're talking about. They do not need to help us to do our homework, isn't it? So we need to protect their identity. We need to protect the information. So I advise you, in your presentation, don't put their names. Don't put the real names on the PPT or your writing. Because, for example, if you accidentally send out this file, or accidentally somebody walked past the classroom and saw the slide and see the full name of the person, and then the content of the person's what they're talking about, it will violate it will not, not protecting their identity and protecting their rights. So be careful. If you just say make a fake name, or you just make a shortened name, or like a letter, or like something like that, then you protect the identity of the person. And then, yeah, I was a bit disappointed. Ms. Hong and I was a bit disappointed. We thought that something we should understand, we should know, but some of the students make a mistake of, sharing, allowing some of the students, not belonging to this course, and not belonging to that group, to sit in with the elderly. Well, actually, it could have been done a lot better. I want to say, we want to evaluate that it could have been done a lot better if you inform us earlier. If you inform us earlier and ask for the permission of the organization. So there's a lot of parties involved here. The party of the students, your fellow classmates, and the organization, like Eric Sir and another Mr. Wong, Arnold, and then Ms. Hong, and then I. When you do a project, when you do something, when you go to work later on, when you find a job, it's always different people involved, different parties that involve in a project or in a situation, right? So communication is very important. If you have friends would like to come into the class, wow,呢個 Dr. Wu 講得幾吹水幾好嘅喎, you know, I want to sit into the class, right? Or you come in, well, if you want to sit into my class, it will be a lot nicer if you ask me by an email very simply beforehand, that I would really welcome if you have a boyfriend, you have a girlfriend, want to bring into the class. It's okay, right? If you tell me. But of course, some of the students may say, 喺就係咁大冇人理㗎啦，入嚟 sit 都得啦，咁大個課室冇人知啦， you know, nobody would know, it's such a big classroom. Well, but this is what we try to learn in this course. Respect. Right? If you respect the lecturer, because like for example, some of the students didn't show up to the class, some of the students didn't show up to the, even not showing up in this visit. If you have a reason, it's totally fine. Actually, you can do some compensation. If you communicate with your group mate, it's okay if you do the job to compensate, isn't it? 如果你有個 group mate, you have a group mate, you將心比己啊, if you have a group mate, always not coming into the class because they have a special situation, right? It's okay if they communicate and they go back and then they will listen to you. Maybe they, even if I don't have Zoom, maybe they ask you to record the class so that they can go home and listen to the recording, and they do all the work after that, even they don't come into the class. You would think the person is okay, right? As long as they do their part of the work, the communication of the work, right? It's all about communication and coordination. So it's not we say that, oh, it's okay啦, 唔緊要啦, 咁多人冇人知啦, 唔緊要啦. It's not that. I think this is very important. I like to share with, this is what I'm learning this one also. It's a lifetime learning. Like, you know, imagine communicating with your mother-in-law and father-in-law. 你個老爺奶奶啊，嗰啲咩姨媽姑姐啊, we all have to communicate with them. So I think this word, the meaning of life, is about respecting other lives and communicating, informing, you know. So if you want to, like, you know, last week that some student bring some students that not belonging to this class. If it's only my class, I would not have been so upset. If you just sit into my class, okay, yeah, it will be nice if you inform me. But if you didn't inform me that I see your boyfriend sitting there, I can actually recognize. I can recognize all the students' faces from here. Then I was saying, oh, 呢個邊個嚟嘅咧? You know? Then you would say, oh, there's my boyfriend. Then, you know, it's a bit embarrassing if you're being, 即係俾人督爆咗之後，係咪比較老土咧？係咪先? Yeah, it would be nice if you do it beforehand. It would be total different story. If you beforehand, Dr. Wu, I love your class, so I want to bring my boyfriend to understand the meaning of life, you know. Wow, that's wonderful. Oh, great. Welcome. Come listen to it. It makes a big difference, isn't it? Just one email, right? Make a big difference. Isn't it? It's communication. Just plain respect for human being, your fellow human being. So I couldn't imagine, I couldn't imagine at that time if I was the elderly and suddenly some people I do not know sit here and I had to talk about my life story with these strangers sitting in the, you know, why do we plan 2 times of the visit? Because it's for you to build rapport, build relationship with the elderly person. The first class, the first visit was for you to, maybe the elderly didn't warm up yet, you know, maybe we hope that you can, you know, build up some relationship. They get to know you, you got to know her or him. And then the second visit will be a lot better because you got to know the person already. And then the person will tell you more because you are buddies already. 1次生兩次熟，3次打雀局，係咪? right? One time we're not familiar, 2 times we're friends already, 3rd time we can go out for dinner already, maybe play mahjong together, right? So this is the process of building the relationship. But I was disappointed to see some of the elderly. Well, maybe I couldn't recognize, also my fault, that I couldn't recognize all your faces, that actually we known at the end, we found out, Miss Hong found out at the end, that some of the students bring some strangers. I would say that they are strangers into the class. That the elderly was so nice that they didn't complain. Yet, maybe, I don't know. Maybe maybe we have to, later on today, we will talk about it with that group, and we will talk about it. Maybe we hope to discuss with Ms. Hong, and then we see how we're going to communicate with the organization and then the elderly person. This is to respect, to make up. 即係有啲嘢發生咗，點樣去補鑊啊？係咪啊？ We have to do that. So we have to be strict to ourselves and loose to other people, but not the other way around. To be loose on myself and strict to other people. That's very bad, right? So I hope that I try not to be too long-winded, but I hope you guys understand what I'm talking about. To respect the identity, and because it's their personal story, it's their personal life. We're talking the personal life. And then another thing is the power difference. I want you guys to reflect on that one, the power difference. Because the elderly people are less educated as we are. You guys are university students. We are university students. I'm a lecturer. I'm educated. Supposed to be, we know better than the elderly people, supposedly. And we have to protect the minors. 即係俾我哋弱小嘅人咧，我哋要保護佢哋。This is very important, very important. Like, for example, if you interview children under 18, you have to apply to the university, the ethical committee, because you have to protect these people under 18. But these elderly people, relatively, these elderly people are in the less privileged group than we are. You are educated. You are university students, right? So they are less privileged people. They are not as rich as you are, maybe. Maybe you have more money than they do. So I feel very sad and feel, that we didn't do enough precautions to protect the elderly, and such a thing would happen. So it could be very serious. It could be very serious. The consequence could be very serious, If the person really get upset about this, they could really complain to our university. They really could. It could be big. Could be another movie of the Zhang Yunting, can be such an incident. It could be, But the elderly was so kind. They didn't say anything. So did we take advantage of them? Their kindness? So I'm sorry, for the student who have done a good job. I'm sorry I spent 10, 15 minutes to talk about this. But I think, this is a good lesson, because we are not alone. We are a community. This class, we are in a community. We are in a group, and the bigger group is our class. And we represent our class, and we represent BU when we go out there to do this project, right? So I hope that we learn from this accident or mistake. I'm sorry about the student who know already and didn't commit this kind of mistake, but I just want to take this opportunity to tell all of us so that we can learn, because you could make the mistake next time. If we don't take this seriously, any other student could make the same mistake. We do make mistakes also. I make mistakes. Miss Hong make mistakes. We are not perfect. Okay. So I hope we learn from this process, and we will see. So I invite the student who involved in those cases, please stay behind in the after this class, and we can, or during the tutorial time, we can, you know, discuss about that. And if some of the student also, and another thing is that I also worry about free riders. If your group have free riders, they show up or not show up in this class. If you have difficulties about job distributions, if you have difficulties about some of the students didn't come to the second visit and didn't inform me, some inform me, but saying that they hope I understand because they blah, blah, blah. They should have informed me earlier, and they should have informed the group mates earlier if they didn't come to the visit, and they should have informed the elderly early. I mean, the elderly people, they're so kind, they worry, you know. So I experienced they worry, in the last semester, there was this student actually disappeared. So one of the students, actually, we couldn't find him. And the elderly was so worried for him. You know, then we try to find the person. Then until now, the person still did not reply my email. That's not a bit not fair for the elderly person, right? It's a bit not fair for Miss Hong and I also. We have to chase after you. That, you know, if you, it's again, if you cannot come, it's okay. Also, if you have accident, if you have other work, you tell us, you tell the group mate, you can do the compensation. You plan ahead. You cannot ask people to understand you if you do not communicate, right? So okay, the one who are sitting here, I'm sorry, as if I'm telling you guys off. It's not your fault. It's the one that not here, right? It's the problem. So I want you guys to understand also, you also share with them this message. And I please let me know if your group mate have not been communicating well with you. Let me know. Let Ms. Hong know. We will mark it down. I want it to be fair for everybody. Don't worry about okay? Don't worry about, I don't want to, you know, some of the students say, we still have the presentation to do. I don't want the, I'm recording here that, I don't mind if the people, they listen to me when they go home. You know, I think it's not fair. I think it's really not fair for the student to sit here and he get the same grade as you do. The people who do not show up and do not inform. They do not show up is okay, but they have to inform you. So this is what I want to teach, because I encounter a lot of the parents, the friends, even from secondary school. You guys face this really terrible problem about free riders, right? 係咪啊？中學到而家啦，受呢啲問題。So I tell you what to do, and I train teachers also myself. I would say we have to deal with these kind of things fairly. We have to deal with it seriously. Maybe some of you will be teachers now one day, maybe you will be bosses, you will be senior members in your company. Fairness and, you deal with this kind of thing seriously is very important, I think. If you tell me, they also communicate with me, they did their job, they did not free ride, they just couldn't show up in the class, they listened to the recording. Okay, if you spare their lives, okay, no problem. But if you think it's not fair, tell me and Ms. Hong, we will mark down their names. And we will check the attendance if they keep not showing up, because I keep repeatedly send email to everybody. If you have any problem, if you didn't show up, you tell us. If they are the one who are responsible to inform us that they couldn't come. If they didn't come, they should have told us earlier. They should have told you earlier. They should have told the elderly earlier. It's okay. But if they don't, and they just tell us afterwards, 馬後炮啊, it's no point. And then you hope people to understand your difficulties, but you don't communicate. Some people inform us afterwards. That's better than not informing at all. But it could have been better if you inform us earlier, right? So this kind of, ethical consideration, I think is so much more than just being ethical. It's very important. Is to respect yourself and respect other people, your own integrity. 你自己個誠信啊，係咪啊？ I think this is what we are losing in this society of Hong Kong. Everybody, 都攞到分就得啦，唔緊要啦，做到個 job 咪得咯，唔緊要啦。That's not true. That's not true. Integrity is very important. At least I believe in that. I support you. Okay, so if you feel there any difficulties, tell us. Tell us. I think it's for us to help the student. We are not trying to punish the student. We want to understand the situation and help them. They can do the compensation. If they tell us early enough, they can still make it. They can still get back the 5%. If for example, for the student who didn't come, if they tell us the reason, they can write a good reflection paper. They can compensate, and they can how to contribute more into the final presentation. They are still useful, right? They're still good for your group, right? They still want to come. But if they continue not showing up, continue not doing the job, well, sorry, we can't help you. That it just have to reflect in their grades. Isn't it? Isn't that fair? Isn't that fair, right? Yes. Amen. Good. That's good. So I'm sorry that I'm so long-winded, like an old woman that I am. So, okay. So how do we do this presentation? Yeah, how do we do this presentation? Yeah, because we're going to have a presentation and we're going to have a final report, right? So I already put the rubric onto the Moodle, and we can briefly go through that. It's a bit similar. So actually, bit by bit, we already talked about that in the beginning of the semester. So I hope that you already know what are the parts that we need to include: introduction, background of the problem, literature review, methodology of this project, and presentation of the finding, background information of the participant and the themes of the finding, discussions of the finding, recommendations for future practice, reflections and limitation, and conclusion. So I will bit by bit, so try to explain a little bit how are we going to do that. I want you to succeed. 我好想派 grade 啊，我好想派 grade. Okay, I want you guys to get A's, not eights, but A's. I want you guys to get good grades. I hope to help your GPA. I really do hope help you. 呢個科啊好好嘅，嗰個 Dr. Wu 啊派 grade 嘅，好正啊！哇 ，it's good reference, right? 係咪啊？好正係咪？ So I want you guys to do good. I want to help you. Okay? So yeah, for overall, for the presentation and the group report. So what I'm teaching here again is not only for this project, it's for your other presentations also. Because so many students told me, wow, we never taught how to do a presentation. We never was taught how to do a project. Nobody ever teach us. 係咪啊？有冇人中學冇學過點樣 present 啊？ Any of you learned? Because you know, yeah, I'm so sad about that. But actually, you have to do so many presentations in university, and maybe in your secondary school also, you have to do so many presentations. But nobody teach us how to do it. So I think this is very important when you're in your work, in your job, in your interviews. You are doing presentation, you're presenting yourself, presenting your ideas. So I hope, well, I am professionally doing presentation. I am professional presenter. I'm a lecturer, right? You can see I hold a microphone and I talk for 3 hours. So this is my job. So, and also in my first degree, I also was a marketing major. I used to work in a PR company, different PR companies for more than 10 years. So we present to our clients, we hope to sell them to our project, our ideas, so they buy our ideas, right? This is the purpose of presentation, is to communicate. I see so many students, they like that, when they do presentation, they like this, and they read from their phone, or they read from the PPT, and then they don't look at the audience, and then 20 minutes go by, and then like this. So many university students still do that. I hope you don't do it. Don't torture us. The coming after the two weeks, I hope that we will enjoy your presentation. You tell us a story, right, about the elderly person, that you look at us, although you don't look at me, but I look at you. Okay. So I hope you enjoy that. So, and then also the writing in the PPT, check the grammar, use the tense wisely, the font size, the headings and the subheadings, make wise use of the PPT, and try to organize your material. And because I've seen so many presentations from students, I know that you guys would separate your duties, right? 有啲人做呢part, 有啲人做呢part. But then after you group, I hope that you read through your PPT and try to make it coherent, make it smooth. Because sometimes this PPT 咧就呢個 font size, 嗰個 PPT 有嗰個 font size, and then the design is totally different. But then we can tell that your group, we can see that your work, that means your group is not coordinating very well, cooperating very well. You do your part, 你有你死我返屋企咁樣, like that. We can tell from the PPT. So if you spend a little more time to polish it, 即係再 fine tune 下佢. And then the headings, how the headings and subheadings, is it coherent? 即係我哋成日話講 coherency. We always talk about coherency. When you tell a story, it has to make sense. 即係唔係前言不對後語啊，觀音頭掃把腳啊， like that. 好老土，我成日講呢啲字啊。like the head. When you dress up also, like your hair, your makeup, your clothes, your shoes, your socks, it should match, right? Of course, I know it's a postmodern time. We might not, everything coordinate, but we make it smooth, match, right? And don't just copy and paste. And some of the students, they copy and paste, and then they don't even bother to change the font size. 即係 copy 咗就用翻 original， 有啲有咁嘅 font， 有啲有咁嘅 font, like that. Some students like that. So spend a bit more time, a few minutes, and then it will make the presentation so much better. Okay? So yeah, about the introduction, how we're going to write the introduction. What is introduction? You have to introduce your project. So Ms. Hong, we're going to introduce a little bit more later that each group only have 15 minutes for your presentation. So you have to be precise and concise. 即係要重 point 又要重又要短 concise 係咪？到 point. I used to also sometimes we give half an hour, and then the group also like this talk half an hour like that, in the presentation. 哇，好辛苦啊。And then and then we try another time. 15 minutes 到 point 嘅，唔係我叮走你㗎啦。After that, then you will, you would treasure the time, and then you would precise all the points. This is a very good training. 到 point 啊，剪接好緊要啊，係咪啊？剪接好嘅，真係好嘅。我成日講電影啊，我都係有啲電影嘅經驗啊。It's very important. 你拍晒好多嘢，好多垃圾啊，好多 we shoot a lot of things and a lot of footages, a lot of the stories, a lot of the bits and pieces. But it's your job, it's your talent to cut out the important points, the main points. Like for the introduction, it's very important. You look at your presentation. What are the coming parts? What are the important? What is the message you try to convey here? What are the things? I hope this is useful for you This is a very good training. Whenever we're doing research project, Ms. Hong and I also doing research, and then we only can hand in 6,000 words, for example. We can only hand in 1,000 words. Sometimes we can only hand in 500 words in abstract, right? 故事大綱係咪? We only hand in. Then how are you going to put all the juicy bits in 200 words? Or in one page of the introduction, all the main points, all the juicy points. It's very, very important training. I'm doing this one also still. I'm doing some big studies. You say 10萬字嘅、5萬字嘅、6萬字嘅. We know how to present, all the important bits and pieces to show the audience what is important, what's juicy. 好緊要。有啲電影咧，有啲戲啊，有啲咩？哇，大明星啊，哇 ，big movie star， 哇 ，the makeup is good， 哇 ，the dresses is good， everything is good， but then they do not know how to put the good bits into the movie. They have done it， 拍晒噶啦，正啊，又有大明星啊，又有靚衫啊、靚景啊、靚人啊， but then they don't know how to cut the good parts，and then 有啲人有啲嘢唔對嘅，有啲唔 make sense 嘅， then it's a bad movie, right? Even you have 大明星, you have all this very, very nice scenery, waste. 係咪啊? So it's very important. You put all the bits is important, the main, 即係重點啊。有冇睇過詹瑞明嗰條片啊? Point. 要有 point. We have make good points. Okay? It's very important. And then literature review. This is also could be a bit weak for us because I don't know whether you have experience in doing literature review. Like throughout the whole semester, we already show you so many PPT, and behind the PPT, we have all these references already. I show you a lot of references. I even post 2 references about legacy on the Moodle. So, and then you can find your own in the library. You just type the keywords. So many good literature is already there. So, 即係唔係淨係吹水啊? You don't just blow the water. You don't just say, I found in the internet, I would see the quality of the literature, not just from Wikipedia. It's okay you check the Wikipedia. It's okay you check even nowadays you guys check AI already, right? 即係嗰個咩chat 咩 GDP 係咪? It's okay you can use that one. It's fine. It's fine. I think it's fine. I use that myself. But you have to chase back the original source. 明唔明個 trick 啊? You understand the trick? You don't tell other people 啊，即係 BU 嗰個老師話你可以 cheat 啊 you can use the AI. But it's okay. But to get some idea, to get some rough idea, the AI is helping us. The Google is helping us. The Wikipedia is helping us. But you have to go back to the original academic source. 即係你知道呢啲係 keyword, you know these are the main point, you know these are the keywords, you know. And then you have to look at the academic sources, academic writings to reflect, to support your findings. Okay, you understand what I mean? Yeah. So not just say, Wikipedia. Some of the students don't even know how to do literature review. They just capture some website, and that is primary school level. When you're in primary school, you can just search anything and then you just post on your PPT, right? Your primary school level. Secondary school, you can use Wikipedia or any source school from Google, whatever. But you are in university now. You have to be academic. And in our library, our beloved library is have so much from the world. We have all these resources. Some of you like to search the Google Scholar. Also okay, but the ones that could go into the library are the better quality journals. So if you cannot find from the library, then you can find maybe Google Scholar. You can quote those, but try to quote academic resources. 知唔知咩叫 academic resources 啊？即係學術嘅文章啊，學術文。哇！有啲人好 ，some people like to quote SCMP South China Morning Post for some figures， 有啲數字佢哋會有做咗嘅幾多 elderly 做咩咩，then maybe the recent figures you can quote the newspaper but not for everything. I'm sure there's a lot of people done a lot of research about that already. So I like some of you are not listening, but I know that every year I keep telling this every year, but I say it in the class already, but every year that the students, they make mistakes like that some of the PPT they come out is not sourced, not reference, no reference. So you get low marks for those PPT, for those paper you don't reference. This is very important. It's very easy for me to market. I see your list, your reference list. I see that you do not cite, no citation, no APA format or whatever format you use. Then it's it's low quality research. Okay, because human being, we already have so much the knowledge. 其實你諗到嘅嘢，好多啲學者已經諗過㗎啦。So many people already done it, already research on it. 其實有好多啲嘢可以參考。Yeah, then it's so easy. You just read those, and then you just your idea, you just fit 即係塞翻嗰啲 reference 落去咪得咯，係咪？ Then you can get good marks for that. Okay, understand? Okay, and then there's a part for methodology. That means there's a part you introduce a little bit about how you go through this research. 即係你要講翻我係點樣做呢個研究嘅咧 ？How you went through it? We visited the first time, and then the second time. You briefly 即係簡單，即係話我哋去咗邊度？即係you introduce especially in your term paper, you have a bit of 即係 no need to be very long, but at least you let me know that you know what you are doing. This is important that you list out your methodology. So in your project, or honors project, the 老師 will demand you to write down your methodology. 你係點樣做呢個研究嘅咧？你做咗啲乜嘢咧 ？What have you done? What have you done? To review what have you done? You don't have to write very long, but at least it needs to be there. 明白嘛？即係你知道你係做咗啲乜嘢。Okay, so it's already here. I already give you 早都差唔多噶啦。But you write it, okay? That's good. Yeah, you will do the data analysis, the thematic analysis. There, you're doing the narrative analysis. You have considered the ethical consideration. You have done 2 interviews. You have made the tree of life. Everybody is the same, but let me know you have done it. You know what you're doing. Okay? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, thank you guys for your questions and enthusiasm about the learning. So I think, yeah, this thematic analysis is not easy. Some of you also ask me these questions. So I will go through here again. Some of the groups have done quite well, about the thematic analysis, and some of the groups still struggling, but it's okay. It's okay. We are in the process, of doing that. So it's like, just now I already talked about it's not easy. Qualitative research is not easy. It's really not easy, because maybe scientific ones is very direct, but qualitative ones 即係呢啲質性嘅研究啊，真係唔係咁容易去 get 到啊。同埋咧，有時咧 sometimes if you do the analysis or another person do the analysis could be different also, because it's very subjective. 有時好主觀㗎。So it's okay. So just now, 2 of the groups also asked me, and then they give me very good examples. So I might use some of the general, as examples. So actually, it's a circular motion. It's a circular motion. Whenever we're doing the analysis, it's like, okay, first of all, maybe for example, you group. Okay, this lady, she talked about relationship, for example, then you can group all the, maybe the marriage relationship, for example. Then you group everything, together.全部都 group 晒 what she talked about marriage relationship or the relationship with her children, whatever. Then you group you use your heart. What I mean is, it's the most important. You use your heart， 即係你用你個心咧去感受嗰個 elderly 講啲乜嘢嚇。What is important for the elderly？ what is important. It's not like a general. It's not like 即係唔係話佢咪着睇重啲佢咪即係講關係咯咁，you know about relationship 咯，you know then it's very general. Of course, in the beginning, you would group all the things that talk about relationship together. You would do that. But after that, after you group all this, you can read. 你再讀細心讀呢一紮，全部都係講關於關係嘅。譬如咁講下 ，for example, then you can see herself 佢個人咁有咩特別咧？ You know how she see the relationship, how she feel the relationship. How she will, so just now we talk about the values, we talk about the beliefs, we talk about the commitment, we talk about, you know, this kind of map to questions, you know, for narrative therapy, right? How in the tree of life also, also it state that, you know, what they treasure about, you know, what fruit, what leaves, and all this is a tool for you to gather all this information. But at the end is what they say that counts. 其實佢講過啲乜嘢係重要，佢講過啲乜嘢嚇。So after that you can feel that 即係你係其實一路可以改㗎。At the same time you can adjust, you can change the heading. Once you read into the information, 你會睇下，佢好似講一個 idea. You know, did she talk about a relationship? Then how? 你問下 how 啦，咁係group 晒出嚟啦。That you group already is all about relationship. This theme 佢好睇重 relationship. That she values about relationship is very clear 啦，即係佢係好睇重個關係啦。Then how？ 即係 I want to know about the elderly。我即係喺個 present 嗰度咧，我好想認識個 I want to get to know the person through you. And you can get to know the meaning of life of this person through your presentation. 咁你睇原來佢好無私喎，原來佢覺得關係嗰種關係 ，for example, she's very selfless, she's very or he is very, you know, the way they talk about the relationship is different from other people. How different？ 有咩唔同咧？有咩特別嘅位咧？有啲咩位係你覺得係重點咧 ？What is the most important? The key words, the most important. Then you can make a heading. Like when you want to present the elderly, 原來佢係咁噶。咁 I think you can choose 啦，你唔使 present 晒所有 ，you don't have to present everything because maybe you only have 15-20 minutes for this presentation. You don't have to present all of it， 即係嗰啲枝枝節節咧，嗰啲好枝枝節節嗰啲佢飲茶佢有咩？咁 maybe 養生 ，you know maybe you know treasure about health is a very big topic because she'd always talk about exercise, she talk about drinking tea, she talk about all this. Maybe it's a one big topic. So you choose 2 to 3 or 3 to 4, the maximum 3, 4, 3, 4個主題 the themes that you found about this person that is like they want to like you focus 翻係 legacy 係咪 what the person like to pass on to the next generation or pass on to other people 我好想宣傳嗰啲健康嘅信息I want to really promote maybe for me is most important is relationship or I want to promote counseling you know for me you know maybe I want to promote health then okay if you group 呢個係啦promoting health 啦養生係一個主題啦你考好確定啊 one of the very important 佢講咗好大嘅篇幅she talk a lot about that okay 養生 for example then okay you group them all together then you review 咁 how 咧 how okay 呢個 elderly 都 this elderly also treasure about health that elderly also treasure about health this elderly 頭先我同啲同學講話阿媽係女人阿媽係女人 okay 你又係女人我又係女人 you are a woman you know all the mothers are women you are a woman I'm a woman you are a man you are a man right but what makes you a different woman 點樣係一個你係有乜特別咧好多人都 so many of you treasure health so many of you treasure 養生 how 你問下自己 how 即係點樣呢個 how this elderly is so different from other people and then you can make some very juicy good points 係佢講過好多次嘅 即係 what she repeatedly talk about is important。通常講過好多次，成日都翻返去嘅咧。She always go back to this topic. Then it's important. 係咪啊？即係佢講嚟講去，she talk about so many times. That means it's her value. That means it's important. Maybe she only say one time 嗰啲講咗一句嗰啲就 maybe you should. It's also important, but maybe in that interview she only talk a little bit. Then it might not have enough information to make a theme. Okay, but then if something should keep talking about it, yeah, then it's important. Then you group all these things, you keep talking, and then you group them to the similar ones, 類似嘅你擺埋一齊 similar ones you put together. Then after that, 即係好似做分子料理咁啊 it's like you cooking a dish. You know, you put all the chicken, you know, you group all the chicken together, how you marinate the chicken, you know, how you process, and then all the spring onion, you cut the spring onion, the ginger, you know, how you process them, and you mix them together. How to present this dish 係咪啊？有咩 meaning 啊？呢一個 dish 呢個 chicken 就叫做 spring onion ginger chicken 啦，係嘛 ？Right? So you name it. You give a name of that paragraph. 即係嗰段嚇 the lady say 養生 how 嚇有啲咩 what are the idea? What she teach us about 養生 You know what she teach us about relationship? What she teach us about education? What she teach us about respecting your parents? What she teach me? How she can do that? Like for example, I have a bad relationship with my mom, you know. Then you know what? But some of these elderly people, wow, I can hear them. They are so 孝順, you know. They really respect their parents. Even the parents not good for them, they still do it. Right? How she could do that? What values? What is very touching actually. It's very touching. How she could manage that. Because she have a very strong belief. 因為做仔女梗係要孝順父母㗎啦 You know, we are children, and then you know my mother is very important to me. Then how she can do that? Well, maybe if she say it many times, some of them they say many times, then you can make a theme out of it, and you tell me what's so different about all these kind of things that she said. I want to learn from her how she could do that, how she could teach us how she could do that. Get 唔 get 到啊？大概。So I hope都得嗬。I hope your presentation can reveal to us the person. How different is the person? I want to learn from the person, and you also learning from the person. They already doing this process by itself is already passing the legacy to us. She already doing it. He already doing it. You are helping. You are facilitating to do this. Okay, to review her qualities. 係嘛？好 meaningful. It's a meaningful project, I think. And then at the end, Miss Hong and I gonna group all the different stories of the 10%, and then we will try to make a paper out of it. Yeah, we try to make a paper. Yeah, out of this whole story of these 10 elderly, what they teach us, so that we can pass on to this information. We could hope to publish it. We hope to share with some platforms how they do it, because they sign the consent form. They agree we use it for the research and also teaching, right? So we will going to do that, and then hopefully maybe after this paper is done, we could perhaps, if it's only a few thousand words, we could perhaps translate it. I don't know, to share with them. I don't know. We see, or we can present to them one day. I don't know. Okay, Homo? Yeah. Okay, so you know about the thematic analysis. Any questions? That's the finding. Just now we were talking about the finding. 即係我哋係發現。we don't give our comments, okay, for the finding. It's original from the elderly. 係即係呢個係 qualitative research 呢個 findings. If you try to read some, if you don't know how, you can read some of the, you know, the paper I share with you. Also, a lot of the findings, they show you is what they found. 即係佢哋發現咗啲乜嘢。 係你唔使去 comment, you don't have to comment on it. You just plainly 直接 directly present this finding. Okay, you just group. 即係你冇俾力落去嘅，你即係係佢嘅力嚟嘅。The strength is from them, the quality is from them. But then late after that, we do discussion. We can do discussion. 呢啲幾 advanced 嘅嚇 but university students should learn how to do that. But it's a pity that not many courses will teach you how to do all this. But discussion, even if you do science project or you do your it's qualitative or quantitative, we also do discussions. What is discussion? 咩係討論呢？ We discussion of the finding 係討論嗰個 finding. Okay, 討論 we discuss about. So what's the difference between is facts and evaluation? 即係事實事實就係嗰個 elderly 係咁啊。It's fact that the elderly talk about that, she talk about she's like this, like this. They are facts 係事實係佢講咗出嚟嘅，就我哋係 take it as facts。即係我哋就當係佢嘅故事係佢嘅 opinion。We would take the information as it is. But then we can do some evaluations and discussion. 呢個就係你哋個組嘅功力啦。Then your group will discuss what you found. Then you can also, the best way is to, okay, before we have the literature review, 我哋係咪揾咗好多嗰啲即係其實係一個圓形，一個 it's a circular motion. We do the finding. Well, I will recommend because you have been doing the finding already. 你而家揾咗啲 finding 啦，係咪？ Then you try to look for the literature review that is explain about this kind of finding. For example, 我哋頭先講養生啦 ，about health. 原來有啲好多長者喺香港啊 ，many elderly in Hong Kong or in the rest of the world, they also concerned about their health. Their health is number one concern. And maybe even for Chinese people, for Chinese medicine, the elderly people, they really, some people have done research about how the elderly people concern about their health. It's very important, okay? You have the literature review about their health concern, okay? How they concern it in the literature. Some of the people already discussed about it. Some of the scholars already research about it from other people. 咁我哋就可以嗱 so from your finding, you also found that, then you list out this discussion of this literature review, then you can, measure you can put aside 即係將你嘅 finding 同呢啲學者嘅研究 put together, then you can discuss about it. 嗰啲the scholars talk about, how the elderly in America also concerned about health, for example. In China, these elderly people also very concerned about health and how they do it, in the literature review. Or in Hong Kong, I found it's good if you can find some literature review that Hong Kong elderly in general, how they concern about health, for example. Then you can put along your finding. 我個長者就咁講。咁啊呢啲文獻又咁講。Okay. Then this literature they talk like this. And then my elderly she talk like this. Then we can compare and discuss. Then we can find out like a new pattern that how Hong Kong people concern about health. It's your finding, and we discuss, this elderly is so special that she concerned like that. It also echo with the literature review, or it does not match with the other elderly in the world, or how it match or not match. So that's discussion of your finding. 係咪啊？明唔明白啊？ And then so how this point towards the recommendations also. 原來咁多長者so many elderly people concerned about health in such a way. 咁我哋都建議俾嗰個機構啦，佢可以搞多啲呢啲活動，關於 maybe they can do a lot of activities, and maybe we can publish books, we can promote about Chinese medicine, or we can do all this, we can recommend, so 即係 part by part 呢個你個 project 嚇。That means you can make some useful recommendation for researcher, for scholars, for policy makers, You know, like for example, like another example, maybe just now I talk about relationship. 哇，原來嗰啲長者咧，佢哋好委屈啊喺嗰個 relationship。You know, some of them very very hard. You know, they because of this Chinese philosophy about 孝, for example, we also talk about 孝, right? Actually this 孝 concept is so heavy on these elderly people. They like to sacrifice themselves to respect their parents. They spend their whole life respecting their parents. They spend their whole life, you know, doing all this, sacrificing themselves for their parents. You know, so maybe you also found literature review from the Chinese philosophy that day. I thought, wow, Hong Kong people, Chinese people are like that. They really concerned about 孝, 孝順, huh? So my elderly is like that, okay? So then you can discuss, you know, how these values and beliefs come from, and why are they like that? Why they sacrifice themselves, they torture themselves, they suffer so much to treasure relationship, to treasure their parents, and you know, like that. So maybe then you can have some reflection. Oh, maybe then we can promote more counseling in the organization so that they can unfold the stories and difficulties, how their sadness, how they grieve about their parents, or how they unfold about the relationship, so that we understand more about how they see themselves in a relationship. Maybe we can promote more counseling service, you know, for the elderly people, like that. 咁啊可以，即係咪好貫穿啊？ Yeah, it's like a very coherent, right? The one point, one theme. You have the literature review and the finding and the discussion and the recommendation. 係咪啊？ So you only have to find 3 or 4 big points, 3 big points from your elderly. Then one, boom, 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 step by step. Then you have a good project. That's your contribution for this project. Wow, you know, 發現咗我個 elderly 係咁嘅. I found that my elderly is like that. So I would recommend, boom, 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 like that. Okay. So maybe at the end, we can write a paper grouping all your recommendations. Then we can, you know, suggest to the organization, maybe you should, you know, we are not trying to release their confidentiality, but your recommendation could be useful for the social worker. Maybe you could, you know, do a lot of more this kind of activity for the elderly, or you promote this kind of concept. Or maybe they really love Chinese medicine, or they want to promote tea. Maybe you can make a course about tea for the elderly, something like that. So that's your contribution for this project. 明唔明白啊？明唔明白啊？ Okay. Yeah. So recommendation I already talked about. Yeah, the policy making your recommendation could be for the government, could be for policy making, could be for teachers, could be for social worker, could be for the boss of the organization, could be for me, could be for Ms. Hong, could be for if next time when we teach this course, how we're going to make it better. Yeah, what's the meaning of this project, what we contribute to this project. You can think about a lot of creative ideas that is feasible for different parties. Personal idea, for example, you could recommend for the elderly also personally. Maybe we can, you know, for personal benefit, maybe the organization also can teach a lot of the fitness courses for the elderly people, or they have a group therapy to facilitate relationship between elderly people. You can have a lot of creative suggestion, but it has to be based on your research, based on the story of your elderly. Then you come up, and based on the literature review you have done, based on the discussion you've gone through, then you can have such recommendations at the end. Okay? Yeah. And then limitation and reflections. Yeah, it's like you know, of course, we are not perfect. Like I said just now, something went wrong, something accident happened. I think it's okay you talk about that. In your paper also, in your PPT also, we have made such a mistake. Not only that one mistake that we talked about just now, maybe many other mistakes. Well, maybe I forgot to bring the pencil or the color paper or maybe there's some hiccups. A lot of the, like I said, just now in the first thematic analysis, I didn't get it right. And then it was also a limitation. The knowledge of the researcher, you acknowledge your own limitation also, because you're only bachelor student. Whenever I do my PhD thesis, I also write that, oh, I'm only a PhD student. Sometimes for this project, we don't have so much resources. We don't have enough time. We don't have enough, thinking. We don't have enough knowledge. This is my first time to do this project. It's okay. It's okay. As long as you acknowledge that, you acknowledge yourself, that you have such a limitation, then next time, if you do a bigger project, if you do your honors project, maybe you can have some funding, maybe you have better budget, maybe in other group project, you have more people to help. I don't know. Then the next project, you can have more suggestions and other thinking about how to do this research better. This is how we're going to improve. And your reflection, I would love to hear your reflection. 你嘅反思我好想聽下。In this learning process, how you reflect, what you have learned, what you found out about yourself, what you found out about your group mates, your own abilities, your own weaknesses and strength, 你自己嗰啲能力啊，有咩叻嘅地方啊， and then maybe some of the other group mates' strength and weaknesses. I love to hear. I think this also help you with your reflection paper also, that you can write about that. Okay? Yep. And then, make a nice conclusion, recap some of the points, some of the important finding, important discussion, important recommendation, and you put a nice conclusion, for your presentation and for your writing, the term paper writing also. It's just the same, Okay. Yeah. And then, like I said just now, you put the good format for the references, academic format, references, check your source, not only from Google. Maybe you found something from the Wikipedia, you can chase back the original resource. Where is it from? Which research is from the library. So you put at the end, like I do, Okay, so this project and term paper, are you okay about it? So please, some group will be presenting the first week. Some group will be presenting the second week. So I think please hand in your term paper 1 week after the presentation. Is it okay? Yeah, because if you just leave it too long, that will be very hard for you to write. So maybe some student, the first week you hand in, then it's 1 week after, then you hand in on the Moodle your term paper. So one group only hand in 1 term paper. No need to hand me so many pieces. One group only 1 and 3,000 words. Okay. Yeah, everybody write a bit, and then you try to check the grammar, try to check the format. Nowadays, we have all these tools to check the grammar, the spelling, check the typos, make it tidy. Okay. Yeah, and the nice format, nice headings and subheadings. Make use of the nice headings and subheading, and you hand in that one. Okay, so 1 week after your presentation. Okay. Yep. So, yep. Okay, and then, yeah, about the reflection paper, that is easier. No need citation, okay, for the reflection paper. No need references. Only plain reflection. From the beginning of the course, 1,500 word individual paper. From the whole course, not only the service, all the lectures you have learned. So I recommend you to review the lecture, review the PPT, or review your own notes that you wrote in the class, okay, and your learning, the whole journey, 即係成個學期嘅一個嘅旅程啊。So I keep telling you guys, this will reflect, I could tell whether you have paid attention in the class, whether you have involved in this project. So 即係嗰啲 free rider 咧就無所遁形㗎啦。其實 whenever we see in this reflection paper, if you are not a real free rider, if you really have listened to our class, if you really contribute to the group, then I'm sure you can write a good reflection paper. Yeah, because you really was there whenever during the class you were there, you were there in the learning. So I would love to give you guys, Miss Hong and I always love to give you guys good marks. We can tell your heart. 用心寫咯。Just tell me your heart. 我手寫我心啊，係嘛？我手寫我心啊，我手打我心啊。You type, right? You're not writing, you're typing it. So I'm sure we enjoy, doing this. It's very hard for Miss Hong and I because we have to read so many of your paper. But, we will enjoy it if you really reflect from your heart. You can also comment from your own learning and your learning about your fellow classmate also. You learn from this team project. 哇，三個一齊拗頭。Three of you scratching your head at the same time. I saw 三個一齊。咁啱啊。Yeah. So you can write about anything, your own reflection, or even your reflection about your childhood. What make you reflect about your relationship with other people, your relationship with the elderly, your relationship with the group mates, what went wrong, what went good, 有咩好，有咩唔好，yeah, and your own strength, your own weaknesses, anything about this course, about the matter of life and death, anything. 咁我都想俾多啲時間啦 ，after the examination week 啦，好冇？ Yeah, I hope you do the exam first and then you write this paper lah. So and then maybe Miss Hong, we can fix a date. Yeah, when is the exam week again? Yeah, until the 12th of May. Already lah, huh? Oh, we already done that. Oh, that's good. Good. That's good. Great. Yeah, we have done that. So okay, yeah, so we will hand in after the exam. Okay. So any problem? 簽唔字有咩困難啊？有啊，其實坐低就寫到㗎啦。If you sit down, believe me, you can finish it within one day. I think you can. You just sit down. Even if your English is not good, you can write it in Cantonese and you translate it with Google Translate also can. Then you just 執下去咁樣。Yeah, you can find somebody to help you with the grammar. It's okay. We can get editors. You can get some people who are good in editing. 即係冇問題㗎。我哋做 we write academic paper. We also find some editors to edit our English. As long as it's from your heart, it's you to write it. You can write in Chinese and translate to good English, and then you get somebody to fix your grammar. It's also okay. As long as it's you, your heart, then you try to polish it. 得唔得？得唔得？ Okay, so these are the references about research. 嗱，好似我咁啊，你見到啦 I'm doing an example. 即係嗰啲this first paper is my own research also, and all this the books. You see, this for your presentation this is how you're going to put the references. 好似我咁樣擺個 reference. Okay, so that's good. Okay, so I will pass the time to Miss Hong to give you a few more reminders. And then we will let you guys in the group to have the discussion. And then we are here, we will stay here to answer all your questions.